You're selling your home and you receive an offer that has a request for 6% seller concessions. What does that even mean? Well, what it really is the buyer is looking to finance their closing costs. So to roll them into the loan, they're asking the seller to give them seller concessions, which are those closing costs. So on a $325,000 purchase, it's roughly $8,000, which is a lot of money. And they're asking for the seller to take that out of their proceeds and pay the expenses, the closing fees to the bank and the appraisal and different items that the buyer is charged with during the process of getting their loan before the closing. What can you do? Do you have to pay this? Well, you don't have to pay it as a seller, but understand that in several cases, the buyer may need that closing cost concession because they only have so much money for their down payment. They're only comfortable with putting the amount for the down payment that's required by the loan, and having that extra $8,000 that they have to write out of pocket may be the reason they decide not to buy. So not that you're forced to do it, but by doing it, it does make the transaction go through. But that doesn't mean that you have to take that $8,000 on the chin. There are ways to work with this. So either you can negotiate it from a 6% to a 3%, and then maybe that makes that easier for the buyer and they're willing to work with that. Or there may be ways to just increase the purchase price in certain cases. Of course, this does create the opportunity where potentially then you have challenges with appraising because the dollar value has raised above sales, nearby sales, so that maybe it doesn't appraise for that number. But in most cases, the number's not so far off that it can't still work. So in that case, maybe you raise your purchase price by that $8,000, and then you can make it work where you're still giving the concession, the buyer is being able to finance those closing costs, but you're both satisfied and able to move towards a closing. So understanding what the concessions are is the most important thing to get started, so that you don't think that the buyer is trying to take money from you, and you understand what the situation is, and you're not limiting the buyer by not being open to helping them finance those closing costs. And in the long run, you'll just have a happier buyer and a happier seller if we can work through this. Having a competent agent that has worked with this in the past is key to making this work. So if you have further questions about this, or even questions of other aspects of the sale, please just let us know and we can do another video, or we could have a one-on-one chat. Thank you very much, and I hope this has been informative.